Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining today. We're going to give everyone a few minutes to trickle in before we kick things off. We're going to wait another minute or so before we get started on this. Thank you for your patience, guys. All right, I think we're ready to get things started. Again, thank you all for joining today. My name is Aaron Arnold. I'm a customer success manager over here at Entytle. And I'd like to start off by thanking you all for joining our webinar today around learning how to power complex install-based workflows using an install-based platform. So some quick rules of the road before we get started. If you have any questions that arise during the presentation, feel free to utilize the buttons on the bottom of your screen. If you have any issues, you can use the chat icon, and then we'll be sending the recording over after, and we can send the slides as well upon your request. So today we have two of our employees leading this webinar. So we have Rob Bradenham, our Chief Growth Officer, and Tom Sturdivant, our global leader of customer success over here at Entytle. So Rob's going to get things started today. So without further ado, Rob, you can take it over.
Great. Thanks, Aaron. I think we already covered that. Great. And that. Okay. So, we're going to talk about how industrial equipment manufacturers can leverage their installed base in order to drive sales and revenues from their existing customers. And so first, to kind of kick things off, Entytle, we provide a turnkey installed base platform that is purpose built for industrial equipment manufacturers who want to grow their aftermarket and service revenue, leveraging data from their entire install base. And so you can see a variety of different logos of different customers that we work with that span across a wide range of different verticals, everything from oil and gas to HVAC to food processing, packaging equipment, even instrumentation, flow control, and rotating equipment. So aftermarket service is unique. It's tough. It's challenging. It's a very custom world. For every machine that's sold, you have to know the application that it's being used in. The products, while they might have the same model, they have all sorts of different modifications and features and configurations. The equipment is operated in different cadences. So some plants are running one shift 5 days a week. Others are running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You have different organizations that maintain equipment in different ways. So some really want to stick to the PM schedule and highly, put a large premium on high uptime and very, very low unplanned downtime, whereas others, run more of a break fix strategy. And then, of course, equipment, has different ages. Some was installed yesterday, some was installed 10 years ago or 20 years ago. And then different practices across different industries. So knowing what a piece of equipment is going to need is not an easy question to answer. And if you then start to look at that across a large installed base, this gets even more challenging, right? So you now have hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of machines that are being operated by thousands or tens of thousands of customers across multiple verticals in different industries, different applications, different operating and maintenance practices. And this becomes a really, really challenging problem to address at scale. And so building a solution to be able to understand your install base and then really be able to use that data to sell to your existing customers is tough. And what we see is people try and do this in a variety of different ways, right? So they're trying to pull data from all the different sources to the left, whether it be ERP data, CRM data, service data, bill of materials, service contracts, even channel partner data. And then they try and leverage potentially a BI tool. They might try and customize their CRM. They might even try and build an in-house software tool to address this. And then, of course, everybody has spreadsheets, whether it be an individual account rep's spreadsheet of their install base, or a country manager, or a product manager that's keeping track of what machines in their product category have been sold where. And all of these, you end up with really kind of three big problems. One, as you can see, none of these typically kind of bring together a unified view of the customer and the installed base. Second, these are not really scalable solutions to be able to uncover the insights which are going to lead to being able to target the right customers in the right situations. And then lastly, it's not just about targeting the right customers at the right time. It's about being able to scalably share that information, those leads, those opportunities, those insights to the right people. So that might be the frontline sales, it might be a service technician, it might be the digital marketing team, but to the right people at the right time when they need it, with the right context and in the system that they are operating, whether that be the CRM or the digital marketing platform or the field service platform. And so what we found is that OEMs, they need 5 key things. So one, they need to be able to unify these disparate data sources, right? So the ERP data, the legacy ERP, the ERP from the acquisition, the CRM data, the service data, the bill of materials, the upgrades, the warranties. They need to be able to unify all this together. And then inevitably, all this data is not perfect, right? So they need to be able to solve data quality issues, whether that be things like duplicates, missing data, incorrect data, non-standardized data, unstructured data. So solve those data quality issues. Then they need to be able to apply use case specific analytics. So not just generic AI or machine learning tools, but analytics that help them understand share of wallet, help them understand propensity to buy. What do we predict a customer is going to need next? What do we recommend a customer buy based on the equipment they own and other similar customers? Then they need to be able to access this data across different systems, right? So many of our customers use Salesforce or Microsoft Dynamics as their CRM. So they need to be able to access the right install base data in those frontline facing CRM tools. And then lastly, you need install base specific applications, right? Applications to help target and analyze the install base to determine the right customers to go after for the right offer at the right time, essentially hunting lists. Thanks. And so this is what has led to Entytle developing the install base platform, really for scaling service and aftermarket. And so we've seen these challenges across manufacturers across multiple verticals, and that's what's led to the development of Entitle's install base platform. And so how does this work? First, we pulled together the data from the relevant data sources. So the ERP, one or many, CRMs, one or many, field service tools, and then all the different silo databases that are out there, ranging from bill of materials to service data, contracts, and even the spreadsheet that's being maintained either by a person within the company or even by a channel partner. The install base platform has three main pieces in the middle there. So the data quality engine, which is unifying all this data and then dealing with those data quality issues that we discussed before. Purpose-built analytics to help manufacturers understand their customers and understand what they're going to need, right? So propensity to buy, how likely is a customer to transact with us? The share of wallet. Loyalty, is a customer at risk of going to the competition? And then what do we predict that a customer is going to need next? And then the last piece, access. So making the data available in the right place at the right time. And so that making that data available first starts with purpose-built applications like Entitle's Insights app, which sits on top of the install base platform, which provides that 360 install base visibility. Think of Google for your install base. Those artificial intelligence driven customer insights like loyalty and wallet share and propensity to buy, and then enabling that to all get pushed into prioritized hunting lists for a specific offer. Who do I need to target, when, and how do I prioritize that? And then of course sharing this data, the insights, leads with other applications such as CRMs or corporate BI tools or even customer portals or functional tools such as pricing. So, we've had a lot of success across, as I mentioned before, a wide range of equipment verticals. So everything from machine tools. We worked with a company called Hardinge to help them rapidly focus on planned maintenance kits, help them target customers for rebuilds, and then even help power their digital marketing campaigns. R.A. Jones, a packaging company, helping them to drive revenue, focusing on what do we predict a customer is going to need next. And then also, how do we move slow moving or obsolete parts by targeting people who are likely to need those. Johnson Controls is the other end of the spectrum, massive company, helping to unify 40 plus years of data and then being able to scale these insights across hundreds of users to target the install base and service contracts. Sturdivant, company that's focused on material handling and packaging, helping them to rapidly come on board, drive immediate revenue within a few months, and then bring on additional business units. And then Baker Hughes, another large multinational, helping them to get that 360 customer view and really enabling that shift from reactive order taking sales for parts and replacements and service to being able to drive proactive aftermarket sales and driving significant incremental revenue. All of these, we're able to go live and start seeing real results in that 6 to 12 weeks from contract time frame. So I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Tom Sturdivant, who leads our customer success team, to go deeper into the use cases. And then, as this webinar was set up, to kind of walk through how some of these complex workflows can be handled within Entytle.
Great. Thank you, Rob. So as Rob mentioned, there's a lot of different use cases that can be driven through Entytle, and really a lot of ways to drive value from your install base. And these use cases are really broken out based on personas. Depending on type of user you are in Entytle, you can really pull on a number of different value levers. So as a business or a sales leader, you may have an aftermarket sales goals that you're trying to reach, and you really want to be able to enable your team to be able to be successful and drive those aftermarket initiatives to your goals. You may want to be able to track different KPIs and reports, see how you're doing in different regions, or look at just a number of different analytics within your install base. So there's many different use cases our business and sales leaders are looking to within Entytle. Then you also have your frontline sales personas, who are really the ones who are benefiting from the different campaigns that the business leaders are creating, as well as the ability to create your own initiatives inside of Entytle and really utilize all of the install base information in one place. So you can really arm yourselves as a sales rep with the knowledge of knowing what a customer owns, what part services have been purchased, what warranties they may have. And then you can utilize all this information as you're visiting a customer, calling on them to really understand what's going to be the right offerings for them, so that you can go ahead and drive that aftermarket sales and service. Then there's also use cases around marketing. So we have a lot of marketing leaders who want to identify who are the right targets for different initiatives. Maybe they're wanting to let customers know about service offerings after a warranty is expiring, or maybe a new preventative maintenance kit comes out, and they want to identify who are the right customers to target for those. As a marketing leader, they can easily create those types of campaigns inside of Entytle, and then track what sorts of opportunities came from those and what type of sales take place due to their outreach. Lastly, we have our service technician persona. And as a service tech, you may be traveling to a different region. There might be customers nearby who own similar types of piece of equipment that you could service. Maybe you want to see what types of services have been done in the past, or they could even create opportunities inside of Entytle to pass those opportunities for additional services or parts to the sales team to really grow that aftermarket service business. What all of these different personas have in common as far as driving use cases are really three different things. One is this all relies on that single source of truth. So they need that consolidated transactional history across equipment, parts, services, to be able to really understand the install base and what's occurred with their customer. Secondly, they need analytics to derive these insights. So whether that's parts predictions, recommendations, customer loyalty, they need to be able to rely on these to really prioritize who to reach out to and what to reach out about them about. And then lastly, they need to have access to this information and be able to share data and insights across the right people within their organization. So access is really another key element to these use cases. So I'm going to switch over to a demo here to really kind of show what Entytle looks like and how an example use case could be driven inside of Entytle. So just to give a little bit of context here to our demo, this is Acme Corporation. It's a fictitious water filtration company for demo purposes. This is our web-based application here. It can also be used via mobile app. So we have that on Android and iOS. And then we also have the ability to integrate with different CRM platforms as well. So right here in your home screen, a couple things that you'll notice here first is there's an overview of your install base to be able to see how many accounts, locations, equipment you have out there in the field. And then as a sales rep, you'll be able to see how many opportunities I have out there, what I've closed one to date, and how much I still have left open. This screen is really also about driving efficiency and actionability. So as a sales rep, I could come in here and pick up on an opportunity I've been working on, or jump to a location that maybe I'm visiting, or that I'm going to call on here. I also have a search bar here at the top. So maybe if a customer is calling into me, I can go quickly look what sorts of equipment they own, what they bought recently, and what else should I be talking to them about while I have them on the phone to sell them additional parts or services. I can also look for order numbers, contacts, accounts, and really just search for anything inside of my install base to quickly get to. I'm going to flip over to our install base tab. And this is where an aftermarket service leader or maybe a sales rep can really utilize the install base information to really mine that and look for signals within the data that would indicate that a customer should be purchasing parts from me or services from me, or maybe equipment replacements. And then I can create that into a really targeted list of customers to reach out to. So a quick example of this is maybe I want to look for customers who have a particular piece of equipment. They've been buying certain parts for me, but I know that at a particular age range and after buying these parts, they need to purchase additional parts. And I want to identify those customers who haven't yet bought those, because this is a really high ticket item for replacement. And I want to identify all those customers who'd be a great target for this. So I can first start by searching for my equipment. So I'm going to look for Aquamate 10s and 20s. And I know that after a certain amount of time, we'll say a photodiode in their equipment needs to be replaced. So what I can do is look for customers who own that older equipment. I know this doesn't really be replacing equipment that's 1 to 2 years old, but I need to look for my older equipment that's 9 to 16 years. And maybe one of the best industries to look for is that in the water treatment. Maybe they use their equipment a little bit heavier, and based on what they're running through it, it's going to wear these parts down a little bit more. So I can select an industry segment here. And then I also want to look for customers who have been buying parts from me. So I can look for customers who have purchased containers, lamps, vials, just a lot of high consumable parts. And I really want to get down to a list of those who've been buying those parts, but haven't yet done this large maintenance. So I can come in here and go to my parts, and then select the part that I'm looking for that I want to sell that they haven't purchased. So I can select my photodiode. And now I'm getting down to a really specific list of 113 locations where these customers have not yet purchased this photodiode. That would be a great opportunity to sell these to. And what I can do is then promote this to an actual pipeline. So I'm going to call this photodiode opportunities. And then I'm going to select a date range that I want to work on this campaign for. Maybe it's just next couple months. I can put in my target revenue here, and maybe each one of these photodiodes is $5,000. So I can go ahead and create this opportunity set. Now, what that's going to do is create my campaign here where I have my photodiode opportunities. I can see all the criteria I utilize to create this opportunity set. And then now I can go see all of the opportunities that are associated with it and the actual locations that need to purchase these. So now as a salesperson, I can come in here and start utilizing this as my hunting list of customers to reach out to. So what I can do before calling on these customers is actually go to their install base information or their location 360 to look at what equipment they own, what parts they've purchased. I can see if there's any other warranties or service information that I should be talking to them about. So I'm going to go to their location 360 here. And now you can see I'm looking at Xerox corporation and get an overview of this customer. It looks like their parts revenue has really dropped off for me. So this is a really good opportunity to re-engage this customer to sell them a part that they need. And then I can also see what other locations Xerox has, different equipment they have, what they've been purchasing recently, if they're part of any of their opportunities. So as I'm reaching out to this customer, I might as well talk to them about their service that needs to take place as well, or any other parts that they should be purchasing. And then I can also see who are the contacts for this customer. So I not only know what to call them about, but who to call. And I can also deep dive into this information a little bit more. So if I go to my equipment here, I can see the different Aquamate 20s that they own. It looks like they own 6 of these. So this could be a good opportunity for me to sell multiple photodiodes to this customer. So this really allows me to arm myself with the customer information before reaching out to them. And then once I actually call on this customer, I can go back to my opportunity here and say this was, a quote came out of this. I can update that and put it in a proposal quote phase. And then I can save that. And now I have that tracking capability here inside of Entytle, where I can come back in here, update my opportunities, track those I need to follow up on, and then also identify what other customers I need to call on and go through a similar type workflow. So with that, I'm going to pause my demo here. I'm going to switch back over to the slide deck. All right. So being successful with Entytle, like any software, requires a little bit more work and know-how and change management than just utilizing a platform. So what we've done for our customers to help them really be successful with Entytle is launch the first open source playbook for industrial OEMs. And really the objective for this is to not only provide examples of use cases that our customers have had success with before in the past, but also help them create the workflows, develop the change management strategies, and really deploy the best practices within their organization. So all of our existing customers have access to that playbook, but if you would like to see that, you can select the QR code on the side here. It'll also be in our wrap-up slide, and get access to that playbook to see what are all the different types of use cases that can be driven through Entytle, as well as what are the best practices that we work with our customers to deploy to be able to be successful with Entytle. And I want to share just 2 quick examples of the case studies that are found within our playbook here to give you a better idea of how these can be driven and what are some of the different use cases our customers have been successful with, as well as what are the results of these different use cases customers have rolled out. So the first one I want to talk about is preventive maintenance kits. Using AI analytics to target specific customers. So the OEM that we worked with to drive this had a couple of challenges up front. The first was they wanted to roll out PM kits, but didn't know what type of parts to put together for these types of kits. They also didn't know how to drive awareness of their new PM kits. And also, they didn't know who they should then be targeting that would be the right people to purchase those kits. So by utilizing Entytle, we were able to help them solve those challenges. So the first piece of that was being able to create the preventative maintenance kits. And that was done by looking at commonly purchased parts. So you could see if a customer ordered X part, Y, Z was commonly purchased with those. So we were able to identify what are the service parts that a customer is typically utilizing at the same time, and use those to start developing the different kits that need to be sold to their install base. And then from there, we knew what equipment those kits should be sold for. So then we were able to identify who are all the customers who own those pieces of equipment that could utilize that preventive maintenance kit. And then with that targeted list, they were able to prioritize it using our analytics to understand what are going to be the customers who are most likely to purchase this and use those for calling campaigns. And then also utilizing all of the contact information to get the email addresses and then do digital marketing campaigns to really raise awareness of the new preventive maintenance kits that were being created by this OEM. And what this really did is help create a recurring revenue stream for the OEM. So each year, this is something that's an annual preventive maintenance kit. They're able to reach out to the customers who have purchased these historically and sell these again to those customers. And then they're able to continue to build out that pipeline as more customers are become eligible to purchase these preventive maintenance kits based on the age of their equipment. And through all of this, they were able to close 175 opportunities, generating over $1.7 million in revenue. And now this is something that's continued to be built out and really has set up a recurring revenue stream for these preventive maintenance kits. The next case study is around enabling channel partners to sell using the install base. So the challenge was, again, with this customer, a couple of different things where channel partners didn't really have great access to the install base data. They had spreadsheets, they didn't have the OEM type data, and it really wasn't able to be actionable and usable by the sales team. And then they also really want to be able to enable their channel partners to sell more by providing them opportunities and then providing them this visibility within their install base. So what we're able to do is take all of their install base data, deploy Entytle, and then present this back to the channel partners so that they were able to see all of the install base data consolidated from the OEM along with their data, so they have that visibility into their install base and can really drive use cases through Entytle that they were not able to use historically. And the restrictions inside of Entytle allow this to be able to be done by being able to create territories for the channel partners so that they're only able to see their data, so other channel partners don't get access to that, to really create trust between the OEMs and the different channel partners. So using all of that data that's now available to these channel partners, they had that visibility so that they could start utilizing all of that account and location 360 that I was showing, utilizing the filtering, the install base data to really go out and reach out to their customers that maybe they didn't know about before or didn't have much insight into. And that allowed them to be successful and start driving quotes and services and business through those different customers that they've identified. So with that, I'll hand it back to you, Aaron, for the Q&A. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for all that great information, Rob and Tom. If anyone has questions about anything they presented thus far, feel free to utilize that Q&A button at the bottom. I see we already have a few rolling in. First one, how do you control channel partner access to install base data?
Yeah, good question. And I think it's not only about controlling channel partner access, but potentially also about controlling access, to this data within the organization. So, Entytle has a wide range of different, roles and permission structure to enable really the right data to only be exposed to the people that you want it to. And so that could be setting up a territory for a channel partner. It could be, indicating specific customers are associated with that channel partner, even down to, specific transactions. There's a lot of flexibility and configurability in terms of, how do you delineate who gets access to what?
Great, thanks for that, Rob. We have a few more questions I see. So first one we'll start with is, what is a realistic timeline to implement a platform like this?
Yeah, so I think the big dependency is really around data and really kind of being able to get access to data. Assuming that we can get access to data, We've had customers that have been up and running in as little as 4, 5, 6 weeks. Of course, for larger situations where it's hundreds of thousands of pieces of equipment or customers or multiple business units, right? It could be a little bit longer than that, kind of the 2 to 3 month time frame.
Great. Next one I see is the revenue numbers that you mentioned earlier. Those opportunities or actual orders that were booked?
Yeah, great question. So those were actual orders booked. The amount of leads or opportunities that are identified are typically a multiple more than those, and that accounts for things that either are not able to be closed or booked, or leads or opportunities that take longer, right? That sales cycle might be months in order to get that closed.
Great. See one more so far, so feel free, guys, to ask me more questions. But in the meantime, how do you compare with an internally built project in terms of ROI?
Yeah, great question. I think for this, it's good to kind of think about the different pieces of an ROI, right? So the first piece would be, what investment is required. And I think, thinking about the resources that would go into trying to do this in-house, there would be, data engineering teams, right? There would be software developers who would then be guided by a product manager. There would be data scientists and data analysts to be able to come up with the analytics that would be needed. So there's a fairly large cross-functional, full stack team that's needed to get this up and running if you were to try and build it yourself. And then I think, you go into, it's not just build it once, but you're going to have different use cases in the future than what you have today, right? So you're going to need to have those resources, continue to develop new features, create integrations for other systems, develop new data science algorithms as your use cases change. So that's on the investment and kind of ongoing cost. Of course, you have hosting and different software that you would likely need to third-party software that you would need to incorporate. And then you have time and risk, right? So building this internally, would likely take years, right? As opposed to weeks or months. And then you have risk, right? The risk of success, the risk of the timeline, the risk of cost. And I think the question is, has your team, has your company done this before, right? Do you have experience? Do you have, multiple times where you've been successful in doing this? Or is it something that's new and that risk would be better off reduced by, leveraging a partner who has done this, dozens of times? And then I think the last piece is the results, right? Are you confident you're going to be able to get the results? So looking at costs up front and ongoing, looking at risks, and then looking at the results.
Great. And I see one more question. So Tom, I think you kind of covered this in your second use case, but what if my distributors have a majority of our install base data?
Yeah, another great question. And it's a situation that we face, I'd say relatively frequently. And, typically we find is that the channel partner or the distributor has a set of data around the install base. The OEM also has a set of data in terms of what equipment was actually built. And so the best of all worlds is to be able to bring those two together. What we found is, given the right relationship between the OEM and the channel partner, we can pull in that channel partner data, unify it with the OEM provided data to get to that true customer 360, both for the channel partner and for the OEM. And of course, then if the OEM can help the channel partner be more successful in terms of selling to their installed base and driving better relationships with the customers, then that's going to benefit both the the channel partner and the OEM with increased revenue and selling the next equipment.
Great, thanks for that. I don't see any other questions, and Tom already has the, oh, nope, one more came in. Does Entytle have any pipeline based on the install base and assigned to the concerned salesperson?
Yeah, great question. So yeah, that's one of the key things. You know, A, unify the data, B, sort through data quality, C, determine those targeted hunting lists, but then D, be able to actually get the right leads or right opportunities to the right people in the right systems. And so, yep, we provide for that assignment capability within Entytle. So whether that's by territory or by customer or by channel partner, or that can be done, you know, within the CRM if we're integrated with that. When the opportunities flow over to the CRM, it could be assigned if there's automatic assignment algorithms there. So either way, yes, and I think it's a really critical step to making it actionable.
Yeah, hopefully that answered your question. So on this screen, you guys will see the download the playbook QR code again to the right-hand side if you weren't able to capture that earlier. Feel free to scan that on your phone. But in the meantime, if you'd like to look at some of our use cases for our customers or really look more in depth at Entytle through a demo, there's a few different options. You can write to us at info@entytle.com. You can see that on the screen right now. And then also, if you go to our website, entytle.com, on the bottom right-hand side, there will be a chat icon. You can reach out to us that way. And if you are an existing customer, feel free to write to your CSM that's dedicated to your account, or you can message us via intercom within the Entytle Insights application itself. And thank you for the praise, Kevin. He said the playbook is simple yet very powerful. So we greatly appreciate that, Kevin. Well, that's it for today. Rob, Tom, not sure if you have anything else to add, but I'd like to say thank you from Entytle to everyone that joined our session today, and hope you have a great evening.
Yep, thanks for joining.